Go. Good morning, Thiwankee.
Good morning, Amma.
Nice to have you today, and thank you very much for agreeing to be part of this series of having taken part in these interviews, where we would uh, tell our audiences, uh, give a positive message, as well as give some practical tips at this time about how to cope with it. But today, for the benefit of the audience, I would like to introduce Thiwankee. Thiwankee Singh is a senior lecturer at Open University of Sri Lanka. She holds a MA and PA in Mass Communication from University of Kelaniya, and also she has LLB honors from the Open University of Sri Lanka. By the way, Thiwankee is very closely associated with Marga. She is associated with Marga in this master's program in development studies. She's coordinating from the Open University side. This is a master's program that we are doing in collaboration with Open University of Sri Lanka. And right now, she's also very much involved in our UNDP project, where we are looking at the indicators and streamlining the indicators of the UNDP results framework pertaining to SDG 16. And Thiwankee is a lead person who is managing and directing the fieldwork concerning this particular assignment at now. So that's for the introduction. Thiwankee, I will straight away go ahead with my first question. Being as you are a mass communication expert, you would agree with me that communications has a very, very vital role. It's a vital part of managing people at a time like this when there's a national crisis. So I'm going to ask you maybe a hard question, and I know you're a person who, speak without any reservations and speak your mind, and that's why we really like about you. That's why you blend well with Marga as well. Do you think Sri Lanka is doing it right when it comes to communications, when it comes to keeping people aware and educating people about this pandemic?
Thank you, Amma, for the opportunity given. I think it's a pleasure to join with you. Well, as you see, the most important or the fundamental point when it comes to information from a communication point of view, the information that is being disseminated needs to be accurate. That is a fundamental thing. And I believe that
you went off.
Yes, just a minute.
Yeah. Keep on speaking, Thiwankee, doesn't matter.
Yes, right. Back again. Right. And I would say, when you say accuracy in information, now in a crisis like this, we should get the expert from that particular field. Now, this is a pandemic where a condition where epidemiologists handle. So we had to really think back to see how far have we got them connected in this process. If you take, now we have a very concern now wearing mask. Are we doing it in the right way? What type of mask is suitable for this purpose? Does the market, do we have this type of mask available? Now, yesterday, when in 19 districts, when curfew was lifted, I believe I saw on television where
I saw that too.
Where the police or the health authorities or the PHIs, they're going around and asking, where is your mask? Where is your mask? So I saw someone else is borrowing someone else's mask. Isn't it a risk at this moment? So I believe it is up to the specialists to handle this situation. I would take a very good example from New Zealand. They had a super video clip done to make people aware of what to do and what not to do during a lockdown or during restriction movements. And I believe it was very clear because from a communication point of view, more than the verbal communication, where images are being interconnected, the message is much more stronger. So I believe it made, maybe even the literate or the illiterate make sense of it by viewing through a visual. And I believe that makes a very big impact. Sometimes people might not know the right way to wear the mask, how to remove it, what not to do with it, right? But unfortunately, this message is not clear. I would say there's another example. At one point, the epidemiologist said, well, we need not wear the mask. We are not at that risk or at that stage of COVID-19. And whereas I would see the police saying it's a must. And there was a man who was without a mask riding a bicycle, and he was supposed to remove the t-shirt and make it use as a mask. And I believe those are little things that we have to be concerned about without getting the correct person on track or connected to get the correct information from the correct sources. When we try to switch on to different roles, we might miss it. And I believe that is something that our media should be concerned about, getting connected with the right source. Especially this is a health concern issue. You should get it connected with the person who should be really responsible with. And then how do you pass this message? I believe there's quite a lot of anxiety, there's quite a lot of uncertainty, plus a fear psychosis. All the time, there is a message going on saying, stay safe, be protected, this is how you should act. Sure. But at the same time, you should not keep it on and on and on. People should be leading a normal life even within the four walls. So I believe this is a good opportunity that you provided me to make this point where there is a key, another concern that I would like to raise. That is how far we've been able to handle this situation. Now, when the government authorities say, well, curfew will be lifted within a couple of days, that's what happened to, I believe, to Colombo, especially to the Western province, then later to the Northern and the Central province. The last day the curfew was lifted was on 24th of March. And then up to now, we've been under curfew. And since we are a very red area, I believe that would be a precautionary measure. That's fine. But how do you handle situations like this? When people are not well informed, what happens is it creates a chaotic situation. That's why the 19 districts that you see, even if within 3 days when curfew is lifted, people are rushing. They cannot keep the so-called social distance, I believe, within this Asian context, because we are not being, our infrastructure or our facilities are not being structured according to that. That's why if you have listened to the Singaporean Prime Minister, he very well said, the wet markets, or the hawker streets, right? If people are to be restricted, what you should do is that avoid going during weekends, do your marketing during weekdays, right? I'm quoting from the Singaporean context. And restaurants are open, go, you buy your food, come home and have it. don't take your family, right?
There is
So we have,
so sorry
yes,
to interrupt. You see, when it comes to communication, I like to kind of highlight a particular instance in Italy, for instance.
yes,
In the northern Italy, when it was shut down and they uh, found out so many people with this virus, they announced this. And what happened was a lot of people came out of northern part of Europe, Italy, and they traveled to the south, and they spread the virus in that manner. So sometimes, you know, sometimes communication also, when it's not done in the proper way, or
yeah,
when it's not thought of, it's not according to a particular strategy or particular plan, it also can have diverse, very adverse effects. Uh,
yes. I agree with you. That is the very thing that you see in our context also. Not that I'm saying our labor force who was in Italy, who came back to Sri Lanka, most of them happened to be, other than the and especially the tourists who've been over here, had been the carriers of COVID-19 after the first patient whom we identified and who was cured in February, and we see a lot of cases coming from there. Well, certain decisions are tough, Rama, but decisions have to be taken. That's what I said. You have to get the correct person involved when it comes to making a communication strategy connected to a crisis or a pandemic like this, right? So I would say even in our Asian context, if you see how Pakistan has reacted, right, and how we are reacting at this point, it's not that getting down people, but then did we quarantine all of them? Now, yesterday there was another lady who was identified as a COVID patient who had traveled to Chennai and to India, I believe, to Delhi, and had been back after a pilgrimage. And it's after 33 days. She had undergone the quarantine process, but after 33 days that she's identified as a COVID-19 patient, right? So that's what I say. We really don't know. Now we extended it from 14 days of being quarantined to 21 days. Now it's after 21 days also we see the 33rd day she's been identified. So as the extent, the danger, the risk, you and I are not the experts. So that's what I say, that communication or the information has to be accurate. And you should not mix up. Then what happens is you're misleading. The confidence that the people have with the authorities also will shrink, right? And then that's where you will see people moving out to the road. I mean, that's natural, because what happens is, although you and I would say we are at a better comfort zone, I'm just diverting it little bit more because of from a communication point, when it's not working in the proper way, that people tend to move, because even in the vicinity that I stay, I don't see those delivery vans promptly functioning. So what happens is people move to the nearby grocery to get their daily base needs. So there itself, it's not functioning as a fully curfew situation, right? That's why people are trying to move out, even when the pharmacies were open, even with a very old prescription, people are trying to move out, simply because to meet their daily needs, because it is not being managed properly. That's why I believe there is a better way that we can, even now I think we are not late to begin, but with a proper plan. And I don't think the announcements that goes on saying we are going to start on this day, on the other day, is going to be practical. That creates much more anxiety, that creates much more issues. I believe, especially with regard to schools, universities, that has it has a huge impact when you say so. What happens is emotionally, mentally, people will not be fit unless they say that we are safe.
The other thing I want to ask you, Thiwankee, now, uh, sometimes even when we don't get proper information from the authorities, we get a lot of information through social media, right? Uh,
Yes,
some of it which is not relevant to our situation, where some of the
yes,
stories that are coming from the West, or coming from societies where the demographic is different, where the culture is different, where people are reacting in a different way. Maybe they are more organized, more disciplined. So that's why those methods work. It may not work here. But can we get some success stories close to home? Maybe even within our own country, maybe from India or from Pakistan or from Bangladesh. That sort of information, uh, I found it difficult to find. Uh,
of course, yes. I agree with you. We get mostly the information from how the West is operating, right? But we don't get that much. I believe even places like Bhutan, Nepal, how they are controlling the situation, right? Even if you take Maldives, we don't get. Maybe we are attached, or we are just, maybe the information flow is much more regular from that end. I believe what fits in is from a local from a context connected to our region. I think that's
that's right.
something that we have to think about. And I would say I have seen a lot of information that is being shared through the social media which says civil society is very quiet. They are not functioning at this moment, right?
Yeah.
So I appeal to the civil society that they can be a stronger voice. Through, I believe, building dialogues. Maybe people need much more help at this moment, where through building a relationship, building dialogues, that will feel more comfortable. Because as you see, there is a huge, I mean, uprise even within domestic violence at this moment. That's what record says. So it's a good point where the civil society could activate themselves. People don't realize in a pandemic situation you're restricted,
That's
right? That's something people don't realize. They, unlike the armed forces, right? You and I, even if, I mean, we both also cannot operate in the way that we operated previously. This would be the best way that we can do, right? So I do, unless we are in the essential services. So that may be a reason why civil society is not being seen active. But I believe this is a way ahead. This is how the civil society can connect themselves. And I think media also should get the civil society connected, because they can say how far that they can also help, how that what would be the programs that they can sort out at this moment. Uh, that would be a way forward for all of us.
Yeah, because getting back to one of the comments that you made, Thiwankee, about creating awareness about fundamental things. About you spoke
Yes.
about wearing a mask. Now, yesterday, our friend Janaka, right, right, when I called and asked him how he's getting on, Janaka said that he has a small wound on his
Hmm.
foot, and as a result of the infection, he has fever. So
Hmm.
now he's scared to go to hospital or to some place because he has fever, because he has been told ප්‍රවේශම් වෙන්න උණ තියලා ගියොත් කෙලින්ම නිරෝධාරණයට අරන් යනවා. Right? So I don't know whether this information is correct or
Yeah.
incorrect. So see the result. He is not
Yeah.
attending to his wound as a result of this, as because of the fear.
Yes.
So
That's a
there
thing.
is no one to kind of advise him and say, no, you call this number, or this is the place to call, this is how to act. So
That's right.
we have
I
issues
know.
issues like that. which
Yeah.
can be.
So that's the thing. So that's where you have to say, look here, I mean, the symptoms of COVID is that you have a temperature, you might have a cough, a cold, a sore throat, right? So I believe those little things have not gone to the people, or people are not that aware. They think even something else, some other symptom might be linked with COVID. And the fear that people have, but what is this whole quarantine process is all about, right? People really don't know what is this. So then there also is a bit of a, where it creates people think that, okay, you've been locked down in a particular room, you can't associate anyone. Yes, to a certain extent there are certain restrictions, but then again, what, for whose benefit is it done? It's not only for you, your family, the community, and then the whole country, right? So those little things, that's where the opinion leaders also do have a big role to play, right? So I believe the priest in the village, right? I would say Grama Niladaris are now doing a different function at this moment of time, right? But then the the school principal, the Ayurvedic or the Veda Mahatya, right? There are people who are closer to the community. That is another strategy where communication plan has to be designed in that way. You and I go to a village, we are aliens to them, right? They think there are some authorities who have come. But if we are able to get in touch with the opinion leaders, they will be the best way to pass this message to their community.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that is the way to go, Thiwankee. You know, thank you very much. I think you have given us so many things to think about, and not only think about, but so many things to do. I think I need to get on the ball and connect with people like Rajan in Bangladesh and people in Kerala whom we are in constant contact, and get some kind of success stories from them also, maybe share some things
Sure.
that we have experienced, because
Yes,
the
I think
communities
that
are,
will
make
that will
up
help
this.
us as well.
Yeah, that's something that Marga can do. So anyway, thank you so much for all your
Thank you,
suggestions, and
Amma. Thank you for the
hope
opportunity
you
given.
hope
Yeah.
you are safe. I know I will be constantly contact you with
Yeah, in
regarding
touch.
the indicators. By the way, I think I sent Pillar 2 yesterday to
Okay.
the client. So I think that if you have, if you finish up Pillar 3 today, we'll be able to pass
Sure.
this
Which
on
we
to
will do.
UNDP today.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
So take care. Hope everything
Okay.
is okay
Take
with
care.
you.
Okay.
Have a nice
Thanks.
day.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Wish you the same. Bye.